Rex Heuermann charged in a fourth murder. I don't think a huge surprise to anyone. This was the fourth body found on Gilgo Beach next to the other three. This one, Maureen Brainard-Barnes. She was 25 years old when she lost her life, allegedly to the Long Island serial killer, otherwise known as Rex Heuermann, which will be found out someday in court. Joining me to discuss these new charges against Rex Heuermann, Eric Faddis, attorney. Eric, any surprises here on your part that the charges were finally levied against Mr. Heuermann after quite some time?
No big shocker on adding a fourth alleged victim. I think the real question is how high are we going to get on this?
Yeah.
How many victims is he going to be charged with killing?
Mhm.
It started out with several. Now we're at four. And I think that there's a chance that more will be added as investigation continues. So really an interesting development in the Long Island serial killer case.
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt that we're probably going to be seeing more with this. I don't want to say hopefully, because I hope he didn't kill any more than that. I don't think likely that he didn't kill any more than that. But as far as getting justice for those victims and those families, hopefully we do see more charges and some of those unknowns can be brought to light. I do wonder though. We have had change in the police force out there. I'm wondering if we're going to see anything different under a new administration now that the former police chief, who had been heading up and getting after this after 10 years of no real action, if that's going to, I don't know, be a hiccup in this case at all.
Anytime there's a leadership change in law enforcement, there's often a shift in policies, in objectives, in what this new administration wants to focus on. Here we've got this cold case against Rex Heuermann, and it's kind of heating up, and there are new charges, as you said. And so my expectation is that law enforcement is probably going to get even more gung ho on this. There's always a chance with a new leadership that they abandon prior causes. I don't think that's going to happen here. I think they're going to turn up the heat even more.
I certainly hope so. I mean, it is almost one of those things where, like, look, just put some resources at this. This already feels like a pretty much a slam dunk. You can only look good here if you are able to expose what is going on. Although, I would imagine there is a little bit of hesitancy too, somewhat, just because, yeah, there are allegations that possibly, Heuermann had some buddies with the police force. There's allegations from an attorney for some of the other victims that yeah, there were some police officers that were there having a sex party. Even Asa was involved, and according to those allegations, and it does make you wonder. Well, some people not want this to kind of go the way it's going, and is that why it took nearly 10 years for it to get this sort of traction?
Raises some eyebrows for sure. And let's be clear, Rex Heuermann is not your normal like Joe Schmo street person serial killer.
No.
He was established in the field of real estate. Some reports indicate that even some of the Trump businesses did work with him at one point. I don't know if that's accurate, but that's what I've read. And so, yeah, did he have the potential to sort of infiltrate local law enforcement, curry favor with them,
Mhm.
and possibly stave off these horrendous murder charges? It's something that needs to be looked into, and I hope that the new law enforcement administration that is incoming will make sure that they are looking not only outside of the office but also inside of the office to determine exactly what happened throughout this multi-decade investigation.
What's your take on the Asa Ellerp factor in this? Again, they found more hair over on one of the bodies. The house was a hoarder home. I'm guessing there was probably hair on everything in that house, to be completely honest. If you were watching an episode of Hoarders, you're like, oh, okay, I get it. So that to me is not so much like, oh, she was over here with the bodies. It's like, no, you guys were just, borderline animals in your home. But again, it's there. And the excuse that we have heard every single time on every single one of these cases is she was out of town. Okay, prove it. other than just you were out of town? Because I don't know. I know I couldn't tell you in 2007 when I was not out of town or when my spouse was by themselves. Maybe I could find a bank statement. I believe she did find one to back up some of this. But every single time this is happening, and God knows how many this is going to end up racking up to beyond four, you're out of town every time. I mean, really? Is this kind of his thing? It's like some people go to Dave and Buster's with their kids. He's going and killing sex workers.
Yikes! Not preferred means of recreation for nearly anyone except for allegedly the
Yeah.
Long Island serial killer. But yeah, like you said, with these cold cases, we're talking years and years ago. Things get real murky, right? It's cloudy. It's unclear exactly where people were, what they did, what they said. Is it a red flag that Asa's hair was there? Certainly a significant piece of evidence that needs to be looked into. But on the other hand, a lot of reports are saying that they believe anyway that Asa was out of town during all of these, and that Rex sort of may have designed it that way to knew when Asa was going to be out of town and carried out the evil deeds then allegedly. So yeah, something to look into, but not quite a smoking gun.
And it's not a crime either on her part. If she was out of town, and let's say she did have knowledge that he was with sex workers. I mean, I find it hard to believe that she has zero knowledge that he's living this other life. I'm assuming that there's some sort of an arrangement of this is how we live and this is how we live. Some people have that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Again, not a crime. But does it turn into one if she continues to deny that she had any knowledge of his involvement with sex workers whatsoever when being questioned? I mean, essentially, is it more of damage after the fact because you don't want to put yourself, having been that wife, having been that person that was okay with that for ego, because it would be horrible and hurtful to think that that's okay. But now that there's all these murders attached to it, is it time, if you knew, to say something, or could that incriminate her by simply not acknowledging the fact that she knew that he was up to no good with sex workers? Not murder, but sex.
Yeah, if Rex's wife Asa is 100% innocent, what a horrible position for her to
Yeah.
be in, especially if she had some kind of arrangement with Rex that
Yeah.
was mutual, consensual, where he would engage in extramarital uh, uh, get endeavors, and she was okay with that. It'd be hard to come forward to your best friend to say that, let
Sure.
alone to the police, let alone to the media. But like you said, when you have these homicides connected to this potential arrangement, I think she's got to be pretty forthcoming. And if she is not, she could be charged with lying to the FBI.
Hmm. Not a life sentence or death or anything that Rex may be facing, but certainly still something that you don't want to tack that onto the already horrible nightmare that you're living through. Hey, it's Tony Brueski. If you like the podcast, be sure to like, subscribe, and press that bell so you don't miss any of our updates on the cases we're following for you right here at the Hidden Killers podcast from True Crime Today. And thanks